Tonight, this is the devastating reality for so many communities across Maui. This is the town of Kula, 35 miles east of Lahaina. Firefighters still battling flare-ups.
This was a home.
For days, fires roaring through this residential and agricultural area on the slopes of Haleakala volcano. Now, homes and businesses burned to the ground. From the air, you can see it. The homes, still smoldering, gone. Some of the roads blocked. Many evacuated residents have no idea if their homes are still standing. Nancy Garnett has been evacuated 3 times. Authorities have told her it is safe enough to go back for now, but she knows it could change at any minute.
This is just crazy, and I can't even. It's just too much. Lost friends, and even in Lahaina, 2 people died this morning in their house, and I've been here 48 years, and I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
Important cultural and historic landmarks destroyed.
The historic buildings that were there, the church, the prison, the mission house, all these different things are gone forever. They can't be replaced. They can't be rebuilt.
It's still not clear tonight how many people are missing and how many have been injured. But one glimmer of hope. On Wednesday, we met Steve Scott, who got separated from his wife, Patricia.
I'm trying to find my wife. I know she's safe. I think she's safe.
Palm trees burnt, no longer swaying with the wind, buildings still on fire.
This is gone, mine is gone. There's nothing left. Words, I can't even tell you besides. We are going to need help. And
we're going to come together and just piece by piece, put it back what we can.
Helicopters are fighting the strong winds to drop much needed water down below. You see those 4 trees? That's where the docks used to be, and the harbor master office, it is still standing, but directly behind that was the historic Pioneer Inn, and that's completely gone. This photo of Pioneer Inn was taken just last week. The building, built in 1901, is reduced to rubble. Other Lahaina hotels have evacuated guests, leaving thousands at Kahului Airport without their belongings and without a taste of charming Lahaina.
We landed here yesterday, and all we have is the clothes on our backs, and we don't know what is going to happen next.
Here's the part that gets me, I think, is that we had no clue when we left yesterday that we were driving through this historical, beautiful tourist area, and that would be the last time that we would see that or have the opportunity to experience that.
Whether you're religious or not, one sight sticks out amid this desolate landscape. A church is still standing. A church is still standing. It may be a sign of hope for the future of this historic town, but we are a long ways away from that.
County woman reportedly dead from the catastrophic wildfires there. She's one of over 90 lives lost in the fires, and there are warnings the death toll could rise even more. Our Ashlyn Mitchell sat down with the sister of the victim to hear the story. And Ashlyn, it's an unthinkable tragedy.
It definitely is, Lee. Donna Hartley tells me her sister Carol Hartley was found dead on her property in Lahaina, Maui. Tonight, she's sharing the emotional story.
My husband called me into the living room and said, Donna Jo, you need to come in here and watch the TV. He said, Maui's on fire.
Donna Hartley flipped on her TV to a chilling sight.
I hadn't talked to anybody, I hadn't seen anything, I hadn't been on Facebook. I didn't know nothing.
It took seconds until Hartley realized the video on her screen came from the exact location of her younger sister Carol in Lahaina.
I said, Lee, baby, I said, this is Front Street. You see this street? And I walked it up on the TV. I said, this street right here, this is how you get from the ocean to Carol. She is 4 blocks up, take a left, and then she's the 4th house on the left. It's gone. Her house is gone.
Hartley frantically dialed Carol and Carol's partner, Charles, to no avail. A friend from the island finally reached out to her.
She told me they found Charles. They went out looking for Charles and they found him, but he was all burnt. He was emotional. He said, I can't find Carol. I can't find her, and I'm not going to stop until I find her. He said that they were bedding down for a hurricane wind. They're used to this, so she started moving all her plants inside and moving all the their cushions and their chairs and bungee cord. And he said all of a sudden a lady across the street started screaming, "Help, help, I got a fire coming up under the ground." And so he ran over there, stretched his water hose across the thing and started watering it down, and they just kept popping up. Everybody's screaming. And Carol started screaming from their backyard saying, "Charles, I need you, come back here. Come, Charles, hurry, Charles."
Hartley says Charles tried to find his way back to their home, but smoke clouded his vision.
The wind was so fierce that you can't see nothing in front of you, nothing. He said, "I just took off and I ran, Donna Jo, and I was hollering, Carol, baby, run, just run to the water, run. Go, Charles, go, Charles." And so they were sort of just communicating, getting out by screaming because they couldn't see each other.
Charles eventually collapsed and someone found him and took him to the hospital. When he realized Carol was missing, he formed a search party and found what he believes to be her remains at the ashes of their property.
He found her by her watch that she had on.
Hartley said another body was found too, and Charles told her it was likely a friend that had been living with them for years.
Probably the whole time she was going back to try helping Mikey get him out.
As Hartley grapples with the loss of her sister, she's ensuring Carol's legacy isn't extinguished.
She was beautiful. She was mean. She had characteristic. I mean, she was feisty. She was funny.
Carol worked at a Marriott in Mobile before she transferred to another Marriott in California, then on to Maui.
She's been in Maui 40 years.
When Carol moved to Maui, that's when she met her loving partner, Charles.
They've been together 23 years.
Hartley says the bond with her sister never broke, even with a distance of 4,000 miles.
We do a lot of communication virtually. We talk on the phone 2 or 3 times a week.
Hartley says Carol could hardly contain her excitement when family flew in to see her from Grand Bay.
She has taken them to Hana, all over Maui, took them out to Alua. She just, entertained them. She was a great hostess to people that she knew.
Hartley says Carol's zeal for life was unmatched, and it didn't wane with age.
She went back for Mikey and put her life more in jeopardy. That tells you what kind of a person she is. And I don't think we've got enough of those kind of people.
Has killed at least 55 people. The catastrophic fire destroyed the historic town of Lahaina and left thousands of people homeless in what's being described as the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history. On Thursday, President Biden issued a major disaster declaration for the state, freeing up federal funds. CNN reports the fire in Maui is now the second deadliest blaze in the United States in a century, trailing only the 2018 Camp Fire in California, which killed 85 people. And the death toll in Maui is expected to rise as search crews reach areas destroyed by the fast-moving fires. Hospitals are overwhelmed with burn patients. Power and cell service remains out for much of the area. Authorities say the fire destroyed all the buildings in the historic section of Lahaina, which once served as the capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom. Hawaii's Governor Josh Green says it looks like a bomb went off in the town. Later in the show, we'll speak to 2 Native Hawaiian activists in Maui, but we begin with a horrifying account from a man from Fresno, California, named Wise Fonselinkum, who survived the fire by racing into the ocean with his wife and 5 children. The family was visiting Lahaina for dinner when they got trapped by the fire.
We tried to make our way back, but we couldn't. We got stuck. We tried to come back. We ended up in Front Street, my family and I, and it was just black smoke coming above us, and traffic was stuck. We were there by the seawall by Bubble Gum, I believe, and it got really real when we saw the flames. And I had to think fast. We had to get out. We left our vehicle. And myself, my wife, and our 5 kids, we all got in the ocean. We found a floating board that we hung onto. And we think we were out there floating, and it was just so surreal. And everything was burning around, explosions, cars blowing up, like embers was flying. We couldn't breathe. We couldn't breathe. There's no air. It's just the carbon monoxide. And And we held on as best as we could. My wife, my kids, my older ones helped with the younger ones, and we tried to stick out together. The waves was trying to take us out to the ocean. We had to come back. There were some locals that helped us too, that were with us. They're really great people. These people are amazing. And we were out for 3 hours, and we clung onto the sea wall as best as we could until we found the little cove area where we were about for an hour. With two of the locals were with us, and my family. I found some sheet metal to cover them because there was just still fire all around us. And embers were flying out. We cover them and cover myself as best as I could. At about 9:30 p.m., the fire came to rescue us, and we walked through the town, the little corridor they made, and everything was just burned. Everything was destroyed. And we were at the shelter for that night. The final fight, it's survival. My adrenaline was rushing. It's just, I had to calm down. I worked in the ER for 15 years. You gotta help. You gotta take a deep breath. You gotta do this. We did. My kids were amazing. They were really good. A few points, my daughter, my little girl, was like, "Daddy, you okay, Daddy?" My other one told me, we'll be okay. They got us, and they're really tired, exhausted. And at some point, the ocean almost swept my kids away a few times. The ocean almost swept my kids away a few times.
That was Wise Fonselingam, who survived the fire in Maui by racing into the ocean with his wife and 5 children.
I think right now we just need the prayers, and we need the money to rebuild our town. This is going to be a long road ahead of us, and we're just trying to fundraise and make sure that the displaced families can go back home one day. There's a lot of real estate speculation happening right now that is really frustrating. And I just want to remind all you real estate investors around the world, like Lahaina is not for sale. Please don't reach out to these families and take advantage of them during the most devastating time of our lives.
We just heard from our reporter and from a couple of women who say that they were upset about what tourists were doing. Now you're telling me that there are real estate investors reaching out to people about their property. What's going on exactly?
Yes, homeowners have been reached out by investors and realtors offering to buy their land. And this is disgusting, and we just want to make sure that people around the world understand our situation and know that Lahaina is not for sale. It is important that the multi-generational families that come from Lahaina get to continue to live in our hometown.
Let me ask you about Hawaii officials and the government. I know that the alarm system failed. They didn't go off. The text message system failed because cell service was bad. Are you hopeful that they will intervene and protect Lahaina as a place for locals and tourists, but a place for locals instead of real estate investors looking to rebuild it differently than what it was?
Yes. We need to work as a community to ensure that we have a seat at the table on how our town is rebuilt and what that looks like. And it's important that we make sure that the cultural history of Lahaina, the integrity of Lahaina is protected, especially for Native Hawaiian families from Lahaina.
Michelle Furine has been using her connections as a former hospitality worker and property manager to help West Maui residents who have lost everything.
I know there's a lot of homes here that are vacant, and I know a lot of these people want to help. So really I'm trying to use my connections to help my community and really advocate to the owners how important it is that we get these people into homes and continue to help this island to thrive and keep business coming as needed, and to make sure that our people are taken care of first. So,
after visiting the devastation of Front Street and Lahaina on Saturday, Governor Green said several hotels were going to open for FEMA workers and residents.
We've already secured 1,000 rooms. 500 rooms will go to families that have been displaced because of the terrible fire. Another 500 rooms to go to support initially. Then coming after that, in the days that follow, we'll have long-term rentals. Those are the short-term rentals turned long-term now. All of that's going to be covered.
The state is launching its Hawaii Fire Relief Housing Program to connect impacted Maui residents with property owners who can offer rooms, houses, and accommodations immediately. Applications go live Monday, and the state is encouraging property owners to participate. Hawaii and Maui Realtors Associations are also working together to set up their website, mauikokua.org, on Monday, and will also provide a list of options and available units for people displaced by these fires. But many know it will take years to rebuild the homes they once had. Alpha Inc. is one of Maui's most helpful companies.
Right here, bro. It's gone. All right.